How are y'all doing today? You know, I don't know. For me, it's been a crazy couple of days, couple good things to look forward to. So it's not all bad. But I got to say it's a little disturbing. But first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining me on this Minutes with Ra. I know we haven't done as many of these as I wanted to originally, but here we are. And us at the Wukai podcast, we're going to go into this in full on Monday, 8 p.m. So lock that in. Me and Edgar decided we definitely want to talk about these ongoing issues. So tune in to the Wukai podcast network on YouTube right here on this network. And we will talk about everything in full. And hopefully we don't have any more video issues because I think we fixed it. So this is kind of a test run to see if that's what's going on. But been a rough week. We get the George Floyd verdict, the incident with Adam Toledo in Chicago, the U.S. Army lieutenant in Virginia, and then Ma'Khia Bryant losing her life. Been a tough time. Not nice. But what drove me to do this is I see people conflating the issue. I see people putting this in the same box as they're putting the George Floyd incident. And with all the racism and all that's been going on. And that's not what's happening. Not this time around. Not at all. I don't know. Maybe I'm on an island. I'm sad that this little 16-year-old girl is dead. But I got more questions than what I'm seeing on the news. And that's why it's hurtful for me to watch the news. I saw a tweet by LeBron James putting out a picture of the officer who shot this young lady. And he said, "You're next, time clock, hashtag accountability." You're wrong, man. There will be accountability. You're right about that. But it's not going to go the way you think. And I think it was irresponsible to put that tweet out. You want to help. But not like that. Not like that. We don't need another firestorm. We don't need things to go crazy. We need healing. We need to be better. My question is, now I don't know, okay? But when she was shot, I guess the officer must have turned, and there was an older woman and an older man there. Is that the parents, mom and dad? They were definitely older adults. My question is, why didn't they stop what was going on before it got to where it got? Long before the police got called. Long, before they made it outside and she had a knife. I mean, was she threatening to stab them too? Was she that out of control? I'm assuming so, because why weren't they in front of her, preventing that incident? I know if I would be in an altercation with, not that I would, everything has ever happened like that in my house, but if I was in an altercation with my brother and it got that serious, my dad would have stepped in. My mom would have stepped in. I would have had to stab one of them before I could stab my sibling. So how did we get to where a 16-year-old could run up and, with a knife and want to stab someone even with police outside or showing up? I think that's what the question that people are refusing to answer. How did we get here? What was the issue? Because I'm going to remove race from this subject. Cop shows up after the 911 call. Have you heard the 911 call? Pretty disturbing shit. You're being told a knife is being wielded. Someone's there trying to stab other people. Get the police here now. When the dispatcher was trying to get information, get the police here now. Police show up. He gets there, gets out the car, walking towards the scene. And here she comes, in a full rumble, hit the floor and everything. Cops like, put that down or get down, whatever he said. And she proceeded to try to run through the other girl. He had a couple seconds there, right? There's a knife involved. He was already told there's violence happening. So yeah, he's got his gun out, not just for himself, but for other people. And he shot her. She didn't have the wherewithal to put the knife down or to comply or to stop being so aggressive. Whatever was happening, she made a choice, and she forced the officer, who has it's not like there was a conversation, things were calm, and he had time to you can't de-escalate that. I've seen so many comments of, oh, he doesn't know how to de-escalate. There was nothing to de-escalate. It was a full-fledged incident when he got there, if you watch the footage. And now, yes, it's sad. A 16-year-old is dead. It's stupid. And you know what? It kind of breaks my heart. Not gonna lie. So I'm gonna do the opposite. And I'm not as big as LeBron James. I'm just an idiot with a YouTube channel. I'm going to say in this instance, I don't know Officer Nicholas Reardon, but I know from what I saw, he had a hard decision to make. He made one. He saved a life. Unfortunately, one life was lost protecting another. And that's not his fault. And that's sad. But we're not, I don't know, we're ready to condemn cops. We're ready to ask for accountability, LeBron James. But no one's saying what was happening with the adults in the house. Or why do we have a 16-year-old? I'm seeing posts on YouTube about how this young girl was so sweet and wanted to style hair and all this good stuff. Maybe she was sweet. Maybe all those things are true. But isn't this why we tell our kids, be careful of the decisions you make? She threatened someone else's life. So if that cop didn't make that decision, if he didn't see that knife, and I don't know, let's say he was trying to talk her down and she stabbed this girl, would we be saying that the cop didn't do everything he should have done? Would have been an even more dangerous situation for everyone else? See, we're so caught up. We're so hurt. There's so much damage from these years of racism and pain that we are not looking at this one properly. This is not the same. This is not George Floyd. And I need people to see that, because we're going in the wrong direction. We're asking for people to be accountable because of race instead of behavior. This is not a racial issue. Not this one. Not that one. No, not at all. I mean, we could go to, what's the gentleman's name? The U.S. Army lieutenant in Virginia who was pulled over. That's probably a racial issue. We could talk about that. I mean, he was so afraid of law enforcement that as he got hit up with the berries, he decided, I'm going to drive a little bit until we get to a well-lit area because I'm scared of what these cops will do to me. Now, I don't know if you didn't grow up in an urban area, if you're not black, maybe you've never experienced this. Maybe you've never had this fear. I have. And we all choose how far we go with it. He was so afraid for his life that he literally told the cop, I am not getting out of this car. I'm going to put my hands out for you. I want to know what's going on here. And when he asked what was going on, the response he got, and it's painfully funny. What's going on? Cop responds with, what's going on? You fixing to ride the lightning, son. What the fuck does that mean? What kind of answer is that to someone that's asking, why am I being stopped, officer? He says, I'm scared to get out of the car right now. The cop says, you should be. Why should you be afraid to get out the car on a traffic stop? Why are we not talking about that? There's a true issue here. And then he got maced, and he was asked to reach for his seatbelt and get out the car and comply. And he was smart enough. See, what you guys don't understand, what some of you people don't understand out there, is they put you in a scenario where you can't win. For the smallest things, you may lose your life. He knows if I reach for my seatbelt, you already asked me for my hands like crazy. Put your hands out the window. That means you think I have something or you want to paint that picture. Right? So you have a reason to shoot me. Now you want me to put my hands down by my waist and undo a seatbelt. Why? So then at that point, you can say I'm reaching for something and shoot me? You can't win. You can't win. So what do? So he just said, nope, not doing it. You have to come in here and get me. But they maced him instead. They belittled him instead. And you could see at some point, if you look at the younger cop, you could see he had reservations about what was going on. But you know what? He didn't step in. He didn't say, hey, this is going too far. And all they had to do was say, hey, we're pulling you over for this reason, whatever. This and this is going on. We need you to step out of the vehicle now. You probably would have got him to comply. But instead, you used bully tactics. And you made him afraid for his life, and you're the one in control. You weren't doing it to take control of a situation because you had an out of control person. You were doing it because you're an asshole. So to me, it's not good enough that one cop has been fired when the other one gets to live another day in terms of his career. Same thing with the George Floyd incident. Okay. The cop that was on his neck, sentenced and charged, guilty on all counts. What about the other cops that just stood there and watched him do it? No one? Hey, get off his neck. We got him. He's in handcuffs. Throw him in the car. No? We gonna let him just do that? And then from what I understand, they falsified their reports. And the only reason we know what really happened is because there was video. But they get to live another day. Again, when I say live another day, I mean they get to, well, in that respect, yes, they actually get to live another day, and George Floyd is dead. And in no way am I advocating for George Floyd as a person. I don't know him. From what I know, he has a record. From what I know, he wasn't a good guy. probably deserved to go to jail. Pretty sure he did. In that moment, he needed to die. He needed to go to jail. So I'm a little conflicted right now because as I go through YouTube, I see a lot of people, a lot of celebrities just putting this all together. And we need to not do that. We need to take everything as an individual case, seek the proper justice, not revenge, not conflate issues. You know, I see things like that kid in Minnesota last year was walking around with that automatic weapon. I think he shot a couple of people, and they're like, cops didn't shoot him. That's a different incident, different set of cops. That cop is not that cop. This cop did what he was supposed to do. You would have a point about de-escalation had he showed up and things were calmer. Is calmer a word? More calm. And if he would have, walked into a more calm situation and people were talking, you know, and then, he had to talk her down. Maybe she picked up a knife, went to the kitchen, whatever. Then you could say he didn't do all he could to de-escalate the situation, or he could have tackled her. That girl was already on top of that other girl, arm cocked back, ready to run that knife right through her. What do you want? What do you want? But we dwindle it down all the way to racial context. Why? Well, I know why. But we need to not do that. There's more to it than that. More to it than that. And by the way, besides the racial contexts that we deal with, we do have a number of cops that it's not about race. It's about the fact that they're assholes. They're control freaks. And they abuse everyone that they can that they don't like or whatever. That's a problem too. We need to get rid of the bad cops, point blank, period. Whether they're racist or just assholes. So there's more to it. Now, you got these protests in the streets. No one's saying nothing. By the way, Maxine Waters. I'm not going to lie. I understand what she was trying to say with the verdict of George Floyd. I understand she says we need to be vigilant. But a lot of her language was unnecessary, especially for a public figure. It was irresponsible. Borderline some of the stuff Trump said in January that he was getting in trouble for. When you try to mobilize people like that, things get dangerous. Yeah, we need to make sure the George Floyd verdict comes down. We also need to make sure we do it the right way. And we're losing our way here because of anger. But just like I tell my daughter, anger doesn't solve shit. Right? You're just going to say and do things you shouldn't do. The other side's going to get right back angry at you, whatever the other side is. See, for me, I try not to live life that way. I got friends and family of all different kinds of races. And I will never live my life based on racial context. I can't. And while I know these things exist, while I know we're still dealing with it, while I know as in America, us as black people are hurt, we do ourselves no favor by just every time something happens, looping it in with all the other bullshit. We just can't. And that's what's bothering me today. And there's still a way to go. There's still a long ways to go. This George Floyd thing, not over. I'm not happy until something happens to the rest of those cops. That's the hashtag accountability that I want. I'm not going to be happy about that until. And now they're talking about, because based on what Maxine Waters said, there may be some legal ramifications happening. I swear to God, if they let that man go because of what she said and they validate that, I'm going to really have an issue with that. You'll be crazy. The tape speaks for itself. It's a wrap. And I know people have agendas. I'm not trying to validate any of that. Believe me, I know. You're talking to someone who grew up in South LA. I've seen the system. I see how it affects us. I'm not blind. I'm not stupid. I'm also not going to put everyone in one box because of race, but also because I don't want people to put me in a box because of race, because I've experienced it. I experienced what it's like to be a black man in a black t-shirt getting on the elevator with someone who's afraid of black people. I know what that's like. I've seen people cross the street and go the other way because I was walking down the street and I had no ill intentions. I've seen people word things differently when they speak to me versus other people because they're scared of how I might feel about things. I felt the passive aggressiveness. I see the cops look at me different and not look at everybody else if I'm in certain places. I've had it happen. But I've also experienced extreme amount of love and care and friendship and brotherhood from people of many different races. And if that's what we want, that's what we need to project. And when there's different, when bad things are happening, we all need to speak up. We all need to say, this is unacceptable. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions we need to answer. And I think lastly, in terms of what happened with the young boy in Chicago, believe his name is Adam Toledo. Another unfortunate incident. I heard he was getting put onto a gang or something. And he got chased down, caught up in the wrong spaces. And I really don't know how to call that one. But, you tell the guy to put his hands up and he does, and then you shoot him. I mean, then you go, well, he shouldn't have been running. We got past that. That's not context to shoot someone. But now I guess the information is out that the officer knew he had a gun, but whether he had it in his hand or not, I don't know. I wasn't there. It's nighttime. That one is a bigger discussion. You see what I mean? I'm not going to chalk that up to just race. Dark alley, crime alley, from what I hear. It was knowledge that there may be weapons involved. He took off running. It got dangerous. Also, this is not George Floyd. But they may still need to be a decision made on that, right? It's a thing. So there's lots and lots of things to talk about, people, but we can get there. And I think it starts with you, me, the person next to you. How do you want to be treated? Treat people that same way. Speak with common sense, not just from, out of your ass, really. And if you don't know, because you didn't grow up in that environment, because you didn't have these things happen to you, then have the wherewithal to know that maybe it's not something you should comment deeply on just because you have Facebook or Instagram. Because you're probably doing more harm than good. I've seen a lot of people, oh, just comply with the officer, nothing will happen. Tell that to the U.S. Army lieutenant who got maced. Tell that to George Floyd, who was already in handcuffs. He wasn't complying, but he was in handcuffs on the floor. He didn't do anything. Right? So we really need to consider when we comment, what we comment about, and always come from a place of love and understanding and be willing to speak up through these injustices. This is about people. This is about a cop. Did he do the right or wrong thing? And the person that ended up paying the price, did they do the right or wrong thing? As simple as that. We can get rid of the racial aspect. And I know they imply in certain areas. But let's treat each other as people, first and foremost. All right, I'm gonna keep this one short. Minutes of Raw is not meant to go long. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. And me and Edgar will get into it Monday at 8 right here. That will be a regular show. It'll be audio, video, the whole nine. Looks like the feed is working right. Hasn't shut down on me yet. So, hey, thank you guys for tuning in. And I'm going to see you guys on Monday. Peace.